when a German fighter was captured with a simple flare gun in World War II. It was nightfall on a remote airfield of RAF Pembrey in Britain on 23 June 1942. The airfield duty pilot, Sgt Jeffreys, was checking his clock to make sure he is on high alert for his next job to board a British RAF Spitfire fighter plane. Suddenly out of nowhere, he hears a fighter engine's sound. The duty pilot knew the sound of all British fighter engines, but this one is different. He steps out of his hangar to have a look. He was not able to believe what he saw. A fully intact German Focke-Wulf 190 fighter is landing on the airfield. The duty pilot knew this is the chance of his life, and his act is going to save many lives. He rushed towards the German fighter. Battle of Britain. The Battle of Britain was in full swing in 1940. Both sides were fighting a war in the sky and in the engineering department. The RAF, Royal Air Force, and the Luftwaffe counter each other's technology with a much advanced system. The German Air Force, or Luftwaffe, was secretly developing its aircraft for a long time, anticipating a war. During the war, the British RAF was gaining momentum in developing new fighters but still lagged behind the Luftwaffe. To understand German technology, Britain needed a German aircraft intact to do reverse engineer. Any downed Luftwaffe aircraft is damaged during the crash. If the plane is intact, it is procedures for the pilot to burn the fighter, so that the technology doesn't get into the hands of the British. The new Focke-Wulf 190 aircraft from Luftwaffe was causing problems for the RAF. The agility of the plane was causing much trouble. The RAF commanders so feared the Focke-Wulf 190 that after its introduction, cross-channel attacks by RAF Spitfires got cancelled. The RAF was so frustrated that it thought of stealing a Focke-Wulf 190. RAF planners drafted a scheme to dress up a bunch of German-speaking RAF pilots and have them fly a captured German Messerschmitt fighter to a German airfield. The British flyers would pretend to be Luftwaffe pilots, steal a Focke-Wulf 190 fighter, and fly back to Britain. Although that looks like an audacious plan, at the peak of World War II, nothing was mad. As the preparation for the theft was taking place, a sudden change in the situation happened in a remote airfield. RAF's lucky day. A bunch of Focke-Wulf 190 fighters left the occupied Netherlands for a raid on Britain. The Focke-Wulf 190 fighters faced stiff resistance from RAF Spitfires and bad weather. In the ensuing battle, one Focke-Wulf 190 fighter piloted by Oberleutnant Armin Faber lost track of direction and strayed over the coast of Britain. With navigation impaired, the pilot thought he was traveling above the coast of Brittany in the north of France. The Focke-Wulf 190 fighter fuel was running dry, and the pilot decided to land the aircraft and found a suitable airfield. Duty pilot Sgt Jeffreys in the RAF Pembrey airfield noticed the strange aircraft with a green tint and Axis symbol in its tail. The pilot Oberleutnant Armin Faber felt elevated, thinking he has landed the flight safely in occupied France. As soon as he opened his hood, he saw a man in blue uniform running towards the aircraft. Blue was not the usual color of the German forces. The pilot quickly glanced at the surroundings and realized the grave mistake. He has landed in Britain. The pilot tried to start the flight again. Still, Sgt Jeffreys quickly jumped into the pilot cockpit with his flare gun and threatened the pilot to stop the aircraft. Conclusion? It is one-of-a-kind event where a simple flare gun captured a fighter. The captured Focke-Wulf 190 gave British scientists and technicians many valuable insights into the working of German aircraft and mainly German radars. The findings helped Britain jam German radar and also to produce changes in RAF fighters to counter German fighters during future battles.